I think we've all seen an acceleration of the damage that we're doing to the environment. The recent IPCC report, it was depressing reading. We have till 2050 to get to net zero carbon, but actually there are interim targets where we need to reduce by half our carbon footprint by 2030. That's less than a decade. And by all measures, we're actually moving in the wrong direction. We're not moving towards that target, we're moving further and further away. And so for us, we feel an absolute urgency in our mission, and particularly in the property market, where we look across the horizon and we see only a fraction of the buildings being refurbished at all, or being refurbished in a way that's net zero. We feel particularly depressed, and we feel like we need to act. Fort Partnership is a real estate investment fund that I set up nearly a decade ago with the single vision to explore how environmental sustainability and social impact can be used as tools to drive financial outperformance in real estate portfolios. FOR stands for the future of real estate, which is again our core belief. So we've been doing that now for nearly a decade. We have a portfolio of about 1.5 million square feet of real estate, mostly in the UK, a bit on the continent, about 70% of which is commercial office buildings. We believe fundamentally in refurbishment, so we're trying to find little sleeping beauties, little gems that are unloved, untouched, that we can then refurbish and repurpose and bring back to life and reposition for the future. We took some time over the last year to consolidate our beliefs into a value system that's reflected as a conversion to a B corporation. B Corps take the view that we need to act on behalf of not only our shareholders, but also on behalf of people and planet and the wider stakeholders. There's an incredibly polarized opinion out there these days about what is the future of work and what is the right balance between giving people flexibility to work wherever they can, and a fundamental debate about what's the benefit of bringing people together under a single roof to collaborate and work together. It used to be, I think, that we would come to the office because it was a convenient aggregator of infrastructure. You would come because it had, I remember when I first started, it was the fax machine. Having a fax machine in the office was a luxury. You couldn't afford to have one at home, or a computer system, or a phone system. There was a degree of, embedded in that is a notion of a degree of efficiency and productivity that is otherwise unattainable. And so offices were this place that were designed around efficiency and productivity. And I think that has been completely upended, because we've found, particularly during the pandemic, that we don't need the office to be productive. And again, I think it's completely upended the idea of why offices exist. So we've been really pushing on this question we've been asking, is why people come to the office. Office space, at the end of the day, is a reflection of your company's brand and values and what you believe in and your purpose. So we thought that we should start there at a very philosophical level with our building and our office, and make sure that our office reflected our purpose and our values. Secondly, and philosophically again, we thought of what should be the design ethos of it. We thought that the office had invaded the home, and that we should maybe turn about as fair play, so we should have the home invade the office. And if we did want people to come together, it really has to be a homey environment. So the paradigm we modeled it after was really around an apartment. So we have a living room, we have a kitchen, we have a giant dining room table. We're sitting here in what we call the library. So we have a little romantic snug around the corner where you can pull up a rocking chair and find a private moment. So really creating an apartment-like feel to the office. And then I think, and only then really can you start to talk about the features. And again, I think this is where some people miss. They jump right to the conclusion. So for example, we've put paint on the walls from a company called Airlight Paint. And it's a special composition that removes greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere, and has actually been proven in tests to kill 99% of viruses. We've put sensors in to answer the question around How is the environment? What's the air quality? Do we have a high CO2 or low CO2? Is there a lot of dust in the environment or not? How are we using the space? Key question for companies as they're struggling with this return to work question is, how many people are in my office? Do people use the living room space? We've created a snug. Does anyone actually ever use the snug, or is it an expensive waste of space? Conference rooms. Constantly we're being asked by tenants, how many conference rooms should we have? Should there be 10 people? Should there be 4 people or 2 people? Well, now we can answer those questions with scientific clarity around how those spaces are being used. These are critical questions, and we're trialing out all of these technologies in our office space, in addition to obviously pushing the sustainability angle, and procurement being a key one. Our rug, for example, is made of 6,000 Coke bottles in a factory in India that's operating at the highest level of social accountability. Everything that we've procured, from wood to glass to the materials that we put on the wall, have all been sustainably sourced. And yeah, in terms of other technology and ways that we empower people to work from wherever they want to, we've put in place, gigantic 100-inch touch screens where we could, at one tap, pull in a Zoom call. And then things like using whiteboards, and where I could be sitting at home and write on my iPad and it shows up on the whiteboard here, or you get everyone around the screen and you pull up a PowerPoint presentation and you share ideas and write them on the screens, and are able to capture that magic that happens when you do bring people together. So I think by doing, we've been able to really understand a lot better what does the future of an office look like.